What's up, guys? It's Cody from RMR Academy, back again with another line tutorial. This week is week number 6, so 360s are going to be at Lernerville, and I have discovered something a little shocking, I suppose, is what I would put it. So I want to show you guys this first and foremost with the qualifying setup and then the race setup. They're going to be two different setups this week. Normally, they're generally the same setup, just added fuel, but the other ones could be different. So this week for qualifying, you're going to have a gear end ratio of 612 because this is a Huset's qualifying set. I don't know why we're qualifying with a Huset set or why we're running the Huset set for the race, but the race is even worse because the race has a 486 gear ratio in it. So we're going to go from a 612 gear ratio to a 486 gear ratio from qualifying to race. So keep that in mind. So for qualifying, throw this setup in, and I always throw my steering offset to 0 because that's what's more comfortable for me. And I'll show you guys the qualifying line. It's gonna be basically anywhere there's moisture with this gear ratio. You're gonna have such high wheel spin. You don't want to kill your time by just spinning the tires. So you just want to basically be wherever there's moisture. It could be top, it could be bottom, it could be middle. It just wherever there's moisture, just find the moisture, stay in the moisture for qualifying. You'll be just fine. But so long as there's moisture around the middle or top, that should be generally where you should be for your fastest speed. So my out lap, I always run right around the middle till I get my tires warm, and then in 3 and 4 I'll run around the top, because the top is supposed to be where the fastest line is here. But with this gear ratio, you're just gonna be on the chip so hard going into the corners.
5, 3, 4.
So we don't really need to go all the way to the top, just because we just don't. Not with this gear ratio. I'm on the chip so hard. It's gonna be wild. But this is pretty much where you're gonna be qualifying. If you go to the bottom, you're not gonna go all the way to the bottom. You're just gonna kind of be right around the middle. We just want to keep our momentum up. Basically, we don't want to spin the wheels. We don't want to spin out. We want to keep the car as straight as we can because we just don't have a high top end speed with this gear ratio. It's just so, like I said, wherever there's going to be moisture is wherever you're going to be fast. It's not gonna, you're going to run similar times around the top or the bottom. It's pretty much wherever you're going to be the most comfortable, because the way that they've set the cars up for this week, they've nerfed it to the point where it's just going to be wherever you are the most comfortable. So if there's moisture around the middle and you're good around the middle, run middle. If you're not comfortable with running the top and there's moisture on the top and the middle, run the middle. Just go wherever you're going to be the most comfortable, and wherever there's moisture, find those two things, and that's pretty much going to be it for qualifying. So there's not going to be a whole lot to it. And simply put, for racing, there's not going to be a whole lot to it either, because with the gear ratio that's in it, we're not really going to, don't go to the bottom. It's quite as simple as that. We would never, ever run a 486 gear ratio in a 360 ever. Not even at a half-mile track like Knoxville or Eldora or Volusia. You can kind of make it work on a like really slicked off track, but you just wouldn't do it. Like at best, we would maybe go to like a 512 or whatever it is, somewhere in that range. But we would never go to a 486 for a 360. This is so not right. This is not cool, iRacing. This is going to kind of nerf the racing a little bit. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take our steering offset to 0, which is more, it's just more comfortable for me. It's whatever for you. Leave your top wing position at 0 always for this week. Because with the 486, the car's already going to be tight, because you're just not going to be able to get the car as wound up as what you should be, and everything else. So like I said, do not go to the bottom this week, because it will just kill your momentum. If you can make the middle and the top work, that's where you need to be at all costs. Stay to the middle, stay to the top. I do not care how much moisture is around the bottom. It's this gear ratio. It's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. Do not attempt it. Do not do it. You could slide through the bottom if you need to, but do not go to the bottom at all. And actually, really, we don't even want to try to slide that much this week. If we do slide, we want to be really calculated about our slides. We want to make sure that we do the best we can to not kill momentum. This is going to be huge this week. Imagine you were racing a 305 in the 360s this week. You want to keep that style of mentality where you're not spinning the wheels. You're just keeping the car as straight as you possibly can and keeping the momentum of the car up. So I'm going to go out here and show you guys what I'm talking about exactly. And why you don't want to go to the bottom, because it's going to kill your momentum. It's so bad. The 360s just do not have the power to carry any kind of speed off the bottom with this gear ratio. It just isn't going to work. I was kind of hoping that maybe we'd still have the 612, but nope. You can make it work with a 612, but with a 486, it's going to be harder. So we're really just going to try to, you see, I'm flat-footed and I still can't really even build up any kind of speed. It's just going to be right around the top pretty much the whole time. Because this is where you're going to be able to carry the most speed with this gear ratio and everything else. It's just, you're not going to be able to get to the bottom. We can get to the, we can go to the middle. That's about as low as we possibly want to go. This is about as much of a bottom as what we're going to have, is somewhere right around here, but really you're just going to try to let the momentum carry you up to the top and everything else. So this, anywhere in between here is going to be your racing line, because of the way that they did the gear ratio this week, the setups. It's still a Houston setup, which wouldn't even have a 46 in it. I don't even know. It just doesn't make sense. So I am so sorry. I apologize on behalf of iRacing, because there's really not much that I can tell you guys or show you guys this week. But that's the biggest thing that I can tell you, is just that the gear ratios are different from qualifying to practice. And in practice, you want to stay in the moisture, or in qualifying, you want to stay in the moisture. You want to find it wherever it's at and just stick to it, and try not to wheel spin too much. Try to keep the car as underneath you as you possibly can, straight, and try not to get on the chip too hard or too much. Basically get right up to it, and then you may have to just lift. You may not even be full throttle for qualifying. And then for the race, you're definitely going to be full throttle, because you're going to try to get as much out of it as you possibly can at all the times. I mean, not maybe in the corners, you won't be completely full throttle, you know, but it's a momentum game. You just want to try to keep the momentum of the car up. So try not to slide too much this week. It's going to be, passing's going to be really hard. You're just going to have to try to nail your cut downs a little bit more. So now that I'm thinking about that, let me go out and show you what a good cut down would look like this week, because of the moment. But it's going to be, you're just going to have to use as much of the track as you can. It's going to be a completely different style of racing than what everybody's probably used to for 360. So let me get my tires warm here. So we'll just go right around the kind of the top here. And then in 3 and 4, when we want to cut down, we're just going to let the car over rotate, and we'll just diamond the corner. Same thing in 1 and 2. We're just going to over rotate, and we'll just try to let the hill carry us down the track and build that momentum and stuff back up. But if you're looking to pass somebody, that's probably going to be an option. Another way that you might be able to do is, if you follow them right behind the corner, you might be able to cut a lane down and pull up right beside him, and then you can start to initiate that slider battle. But instead, when we're throwing sliders this week, we want to be really careful that we don't kill our momentum or anything like that. So try to give yourself something like that, where you want to get to the top a little sooner, and just let the momentum, try to keep your momentum up this week. It's going to be so hard. There's not going to be a whole lot of passing probably. Yeah, just try to keep your momentum up, and hopefully iRacing will do a patch update, and they'll fix it, and we'll have the right setup. But just in case we don't, I wanted to go ahead and put this out there and let everybody know. So good luck this week.